This is the ANIIOKI, a 9 Pro Max. It takes hills that usually slow me down and turns them into a quick, controlled pull, and it does it while stretching a single charge way farther than I expected. I think of this as a high-power, dual-motor electric bike built for riders who want real range and confident speed without babying the bike. It fits riders who deal with long climbs, mixed surfaces, and night rides, and it makes the most sense for someone who values stability and safety features as much as raw torque. I am not treating this as a lightweight city runabout. This is a serious machine for daily transportation and weekend exploring. The first thing that affects daily use is the frame. The matte army green color is subtle in person, and the aluminum chassis looks aggressive because it is genuinely stout. It is heavy, around 150 pounds, and that matters. Moving it in a tight garage takes some planning, and lifting the front over a curb is a small workout. The payoff is a planted feel on rough streets and a confidence that smaller bikes do not give me. The fat tires are 26 by 4.8 inches, and with full suspension and an air fork up front, the whole bike filters out potholes and washboard patches that normally rattle my hands. The saddle is broad and supportive, and the adjustable handlebar height lets me dial in an upright position for longer rides. The fenders look tough and keep most gunk off the frame, but the front one runs a bit short, and the cutout on the rear leaves a gap near the chain. On rainy days, I feel a light spray on my shins if I ride through deeper puddles. Setup was straightforward but not exactly light work. I assembled the front end, aligned the bars, and checked the brakes. If someone has built a few bikes, it will feel familiar. If not, the manual is worth following step by step. Once powered on, the 5-inch color display is bright and readable in daylight. The menus are simple, the ride data is clear, and I can charge a phone from the display and play music through the bike system. The display has fewer customization options than another earlier version I tried, but all the essentials are there. The application connection over Bluetooth is stable, and I like seeing my ride stats and tweaking a few behavior options without cluttering the main screen. The moment I start riding, the motors define the experience. There are 2 of them, and together they can peak around 5,600 watts. I feel that right away in the first quarter turn of the pedals or the first squeeze of the throttle. The pickup is instant, but it is not jumpy if I keep the assist level low around sidewalks or crowded streets. When I roll up to a steep climb, the bike just surges forward. On a long hill where normal electric bikes start to fade, I keep a steady pace with headroom left to pass. That extra torque gives me room to be safe in traffic. I can get up to traffic speed quickly from a stoplight, merge cleanly, and then back off to a comfortable cruise. The battery is a 60-volt pack rated around 70 ampere-hours. On slower rides that mix pedal assist with steady cruising, I get very close to the 200-mile range I was promised. When I push higher speeds and lean on the throttle, the number drops, but it still lasts long enough that I do not worry about charging every single night. Voltage sag under heavy load is mild, so power delivery stays even, instead of falling flat as the battery indicator drops. Over a week of commuting and weekend rides, I charged less than I thought I would, and that changed how I plan trips. I just go ride and charging becomes an afterthought. Braking is the other side of that power, and this bike treats it seriously. There are dual discs up front and a combined braking system that links the front and rear for a controlled stop. I tested a few quick stops on dry pavement at higher speed, and the bike stayed straight without a skid. The front end dives a hair, the tires bite, and I come down to a stop with less drama than I expected for a bike this heavy. In the rain, the feel stays predictable. I did a slow, wet brake check after a light drizzle, and the lever feel was consistent, which builds trust. Lighting is not an afterthought. The headlight is large, with a bright main beam and a visible ring plus side markers that help with cross traffic. There are low and high beams, turn signals built into the bar ends, 4-way flashers that trigger the tail light, and the brake light is bright and responsive. There is even subtle blue accent lighting at the back. That mix makes night riding less stressful. Drivers see me sooner, and I notice fewer last-second merges near my lane. The horn is loud enough to pop through traffic noise. I prefer a loud bell for shared paths and a strong horn for busy streets, and this one checks the second box. For daily use, the dashboard camera might be my quiet favorite. It records rides without me thinking about it. A quick errand ride through a busy intersection feels better with a rolling record. The built-in mirrors help with lane checks, and I keep them angled to watch for cars that hang near my rear wheel. A small touch, but charging my phone from the display lets me navigate without watching the battery on the phone trickle down. The included anti-theft lock and safety vest are practical extras. I do not have to pack an extra lock when I know I will only be inside a shop for a few minutes, and the vest lives in the storage pouch for night rides. My real-world testing started with a week of commuting across mixed city streets. Cobblestones, construction steel plates, and broken asphalt did not shake the bike much. The suspension and tire combination takes the sharp hit out and keeps the bars calm. I took the same route during a rainstorm to see how the fenders behaved. The frame stayed mostly clean, the drivetrain did not caked up, and I got a little water on the front of my shins and a light mist on the backs of my calves after hitting a long puddle at speed. Not a deal breaker, but I would like a slightly longer front fender. For a hill test, I rode a long, steady climb that usually forces me to choose between spinning slowly or punching hard on smaller motors. Here I stayed seated and rolled up with a comfortable cadence while the motors did the heavy lifting. Heat buildup was a non-issue on a cool day. On a warmer afternoon, the power taper was minimal and felt like it held steady all the way up. Descending that same hill showed me the brakes were up for repeated stops without a spongy feel at the levers. At night, the lighting package stands out. The headlight beam pattern is wide and even, and the side markers and turn signals make me visible from angles that car drivers actually use when scanning. I like that the tail light responds to braking, so someone behind me sees the change immediately. The loud horn gets through car windows from a lane over, which matters in loud traffic. One specific use case that sold me on this bike is a cross-town evening ride to a trailhead on the edge of the city. I leave after work, cut through downtown with start and stop traffic, then climb a winding service road to a ridge. Pedal assist on a middle setting gets me to the base without sweating. I bump the assist up for the climb and throttle past a steep pinch without losing cadence. I reach the trail turnoff with plenty of battery left and ride a few miles of packed dirt, letting the suspension float over roots and the fat tires grip loose sections. On the way back, I descend in the dark with the high beam on, check mirrors before lane changes, and roll home with the four-way flashers on while waiting at a long intersection. I plug my phone into the universal serial bus port on the display so navigation stays on full brightness. I get home with energy left in the pack and do not even bother charging until the next night. A few thoughtful details round out the experience. The color display is easy to read at a glance, and I do not have to squint to see speed, battery estimate, and trip distance. The application connectivity gives me basic control and ride logs without bloat. But I wish the on-bike settings had a few more adjustable parameters for riders who like to tune acceleration curves and assist steps. The built-in mirrors stay put over bumpy roads, which tells me the mounts are solid. The horn has a clean, sharp tone that nearby drivers recognize. The dashboard camera is simple to use. I just set it once and forget it, and it quietly builds a record of my rides. There are drawbacks to consider. The weight is real, and in a walk-up apartment I would not want to carry this upstairs. Slow-speed maneuvering in a packed bike room takes patience. The fenders could extend a touch farther. The display is very good, but power users might want more ways to tweak performance from the handlebars. Assembly is doable, and I handled it, but I would not hand it to a complete beginner without a patient afternoon and the manual open. I think the ANIIOKI A9 Pro Max is best for experienced riders who want serious power and range, taller riders who appreciate the larger frame, and anyone who rides in hilly areas or on mixed surfaces and wants stability, lighting, and braking that feel built for real roads. It is not the bike I would pick for lifting onto a wall hook every night or carrying up a flight of stairs. It is the bike I pick when I want to go far, go fast when needed, and come home with hands and back that still feel fresh. If this video helped, Please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with questions or what you want to see tested next. Thank you for watching.